All right, so this kind of was like a last minute movie review idea. Well, when they first released the first trailer for Roadhouse, it kind of was like sitting in the back of my memory bank where it was like I'm gonna go check this movie out, but at the same time I wasn't exactly looking forward to it. But I will say this movie was a whole lot better than what I thought it was going to be, and you brought to my attention this is actually a remake movie.
Yeah, correct. So MGM had produced a movie back in 1989. For those who remember this movie, Roadhouse, actually named Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. It's a cult classic. I mean, it's a must watch. I don't know if you watched it, but it brings me back. So it was a pretty good movie. I mean, it's kind of more like, I don't want to say a remake, but more of a reimagine of Dalton, the main character. In the first one, he was an ex-bouncer hired to fix up a bar that was, pretty much the same concept as this one, that was trashy, and they're trying to fix up the image of this bar. And in the new one, Jake Gyllenhaal plays an ex-UFC fighter who was hired to fix up a bar in Miami, not Miami, South Florida.
So let's put the microscope under Jake Gyllenhaal real quick, because maybe this may be a little bit premature, but it's looking like he's going to be. The trajectory of him is starting to be the next big thing in Hollywood, if we're being honest. Because the last couple projects that I've watched with Jake Gyllenhaal was obviously this movie, and a personal favorite of mine is Ambulance. That's a phenomenal movie. And then the Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. I don't know if you've seen any of those movies, but those movies were amazing. And obviously the Spider-Man Far From Home movie where he played Mysterio, which I felt like he did a good job in. And there's rumor, well, I believe he released a photo of himself after the set of Roadhouse, of seeing his body. It's jacked, and he's putting out his resume out there, body wise, no homo, for him to be the next Batman in the new DC universe.
Hey, yo, this is pretty wild though. Like watching this movie, I didn't think Jake Gyllenhaal got that ripped, but I'm like, now looking back at like rewatching it, I'm like, damn, yo, this man ripped, no homo, yo. But the best part about this movie is seeing Jake Gyllenhaal just, being a badass in this movie, yo. So I mean, it's first. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of Jake Gyllenhaal. I love his films. And to watch Prince of Persia, if you remember that, I remember that because I was a big fan of Prince of Persia back in the day for the PlayStation 2. What else? I did like him as
Multi-plat.
I did like him as Mysterio, which was pretty cool to be able to see him in that. So, Jarhead too. I mean, that's a classic.
Brothers, do you check out Brothers with Tobey Maguire?
Oh yeah, Brothers, Highway. There's a film we're not going to talk about because it's on his slate. Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? it made the Joker famous for Christian Nolan, but we don't talk about that. So yeah, so it's pretty cool being able to see this remake. I was kind of shocked to be able to see MGM like go through their vault and remake certain movies. And Roadhouse, I never thought that would be like a priority or an option to make it into a movie again. But to be honest with you, when I saw the trailer, I liked it. I thought it wasn't gonna be a remake, but then I was kind of against it. But then watching the movie, I kind of I think MGM actually hit something on the nail. So like, I like the movie, yo. I ain't gonna say I completely loved it, but I liked it a lot. I can see myself rewatching this movie. I'm more into the action, so like being able to see Conor McGregor come out in this movie and play himself, basically being like this total like asshole and just wrecking people on the streets. I like it. I mean,
he stole the show. He stole the show in this movie. I feel like he was
definitely like he was a great actor in this movie. Most people think that he was just all right. Nah, he was playing himself, but I kind of got like a superhero vibe. I don't know about you, but I kind of had this like, I guess this Batman feeling. If we're talking about Batman like references, I felt like Jake Gyllenhaal was basically auditioning for Batman, and Conor McGregor was basically like this buffed up like version of Joker because they were both fucking sociopaths, bro. Like, not sociopaths. Sorry, let me correct. Psychopaths, bro. They were both psychopaths, bro. They're both unhinged. They're the same character on two different sides, and they just go at it with each other. It was pretty good. I like it, even though if some of the storyline kind of just didn't make sense for the sake of the plot. But I'll take it for what it is. I mean, it was enjoyable. I would rewatch it again. I would recommend people to watch it. I wouldn't say sleep on this movie, bro. Like, don't. No, this movie was pretty good.
Would you say that Conor McGregor has a future in acting?
I think so. I really do. I mean, like, his interest in the beginning of this movie was pretty badass if you think about it. Get some puss, causing mayhem on the streets, knock somebody out for some clothes because this man was walking out butt naked, pause, no homo. So
it's a boots.
Some boots and get hired on the same time. Yo, his boss telling me, yo, I need you to come fix my son's mess. He fucking up everything. So when can you help me? He's like, I'm on my way. I got you. I mean, you can't get any more badass than that, bro. You really can't.
Mm-hmm. True. I will say I feel like Conor McGregor moving forward will be typecasted in movies until proven otherwise. He'll always I think he'll always be like that enforcer, bad guy type of character in movies moving forward.
I would like to see him in more movies. This kind of reminded me of a Fast and Furious 10 movie with Jason Momoa as the villain, because they kind of seem like two kind of similar characters. They're just gone wild, yo. They just do what they got to do to get shit done, and they don't care who they got to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's kind of like they rely on being cringy, because I mean a lot of the talking scenes and the fight scenes were just ridiculous, like them fighting in the piano and then just making comments about certain things. Like, you would think in a real fight, there's not enough time for talking.
Yeah, he said this piano is out of tune. Sounds good to me.
Good to me. Or we coming out there in the bar talking about Dalton, come out, Dalton, come out and play. And Dalton just walking like, what? He was like, I've been looking for you. He's like, we got a score to settle. And he's like, I know you. And then he said, he's like, you're crazy, just like me. I was like, yo, what the fuck? And so it's pretty amazing to see these two like chemistry together, and I think they play pretty well, and I would like to see them play in different movies. Hopefully in the future they'll actually get to recast in different characters in other movies, because this was pretty cool. So
I'm agree with you as far as the plot is concerned. It was a little bit clunky. If I was to change it up a little bit, maybe we should have did something a little bit better with the crime boss. Like, you know, make it a little bit more fluid instead of like making it forced, because it just seemed like the backstory of the father should have been elaborated a little bit better. Yeah, they should elaborate a little bit more on the backstory with the father, with Brand's father. All you know is like he's talking from prison to his son, and then of course he calls Conor McGregor's character Knox from prison. So they really didn't tell you exactly how he ended up getting locked up. And yeah, I get it. Like we can hear from other characters throughout the movie how he has a strain on this particular city in Florida, but like I want to understand like a better understanding of how he's able to have the police sheriff in check too as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. To be honest, like seeing the villain Ben being played like this, I feel like he was more like a spoiled little brat. Like he's never been told it his whole entire life, and the fact that they tried to say his father was one of the founding members or family members that helped create Florida Keys. So it's not enough of a backstory for me to be like, okay, why do I care enough about this character? And it didn't help that he had this cliche of henchmen that were just fucking retarded, like just dumb as shit. just
There was just
over
a whole
there.
bunch of a whole bunch of groups of like misfits. Like you had a biker, you had a regular black dude, and then you just had this wimpy dude that just was like, "I'm cool,
just
man."
told
Hey,
on
how you
himself.
doing? Yeah, just told on himself basically. Like he was like the weak link out of the group. So that was a little bit odd, but at the same time, I agree with you. What's it? Brant? That's his name,
Uh,
right?
yeah, Brent, Ben Brent.
Yeah, Brant, he was yeah, definitely a spoiled brat, and it's Ben Brant. It was definitely difficult to watch some of his scenes because it was just a little bit too cringy for me.
I felt like I couldn't take him serious, to be honest with you. I felt like if that was the main threat, then you're not really drawing me into this movie as much. But the beginning was pretty cool to be able to see Jake Gyllenhaal walk into this, I guess a bar fight or in a barn, and then putting money down to fight Post Malone, which was pretty cool. Like, uh, way to open up a film. Post Malone
Right.
whooping ass, and he gets in there, and for some reason everybody knows who he is. That he's the ex-UFC fighter that like basically beat the shit out of his best friend, and everybody's like, "Yo, bro, like, hey, don't fuck with him, bro. He's fucking crazy, bro. Like, yo, you know who that is?" So it was pretty cool. To be honest with you, like, does it carry weight to the original? I would say no. I'm a big fan of the original. Like, to be honest, the original Roadhouse has a special place in my heart. I ain't knocking Jake Gyllenhaal's version of it. But I just felt like they should have just renamed it something else. But also,
Are you having a biased opinion on this?
no, not really. I like the movie. I like an action movie. I ain't against it. Like, I just, to be honest, like I said, I was against it at first, then I liked it. But like going in, knowing that I watched the original film years ago when I was a teenager, because my mom was big on Patrick Swayze. So Patrick Swayze back in the day, if you remember, he made Ghost.
That's the only movie I've seen with him in it.
What? Are you serious?
That's the only movie. I only seen Ghost.
What about Dirty Dancing?
Never seen
Point
it.
Break?
Never seen it.
Oh, damn, bro. You need to watch some of his movies, yo. He got some good movies out there. I ain't gonna hold you. My mom was a big fan of him, so I've seen a lot of his movies. And I mean, he's only pretty much got 2 action movies on his belt. I mean, may want to correct me on that, but I believe it's Point Break and Roadhouse back in the 80s. So going in and watching this film, like I'm a big fan of this film because it was just all about action. Like it reminds me, the original film reminds me of like a John Wick but with bouncers. So Dalton was this dude that everybody knew who he was. Like, he wasn't weird. He was just this dude like that apparently had like hurt a lot of bad people, and people were scared of him. And then everybody wanted him. And he came in there. He always had this nonchalant way of talking. Like, you just seemed kind of like this dude. Because I'll never forget, one of the quotes is that, "Be nice until it's no longer needed to be nice." And that shit carried me because I'm like, damn, like, who is this dude, bro? And he'd just come in here and he'd just talk to these people, just like Jake Gyllenhaal in the beginning when he came in the bar and he was in the Roadhouse and he told these guys, those bullies, the henchmen that work for Ben, "Hey, can we go outside?" And they'd be like, "F you, like, what you gonna do about it? Won't whoop your ass right here." He's like, "Come on, let's go outside." In the original, they took that from the original. That was one of the opening scenes that you get, that he tells these. He's the bouncer in the beginning of the movie, and he tells these guys that are just wanting to cause havoc in the bar, and he tells them, "Let's go outside." So they end up going outside, and like in the beginning of the film, like you had these guys telling you, like, "Yo, do you know who this is?" Like, "Yo, this is Dalton, bro. Yo, you don't want to fuck with this dude." So you get this, you get this like this hype, and then he just whoop ass. And he don't even try whooping ass. He just whoops these asses of these guys, these bullies, and they run away with their tails between their legs. So, it has like a special place in my heart.
He whooped their ass and then he drove them to the hospital.
Yeah, in the remake, that's what you get. In the original, he don't do that. He just whoop your ass and be like, "Have a nice day. Like, feel free to come back whenever you're ready. I'll be right here." Like it's different. But I mean, I like the Jake Gyllenhaal, but that was pretty crazy. But in the remake, we get Jake Gyllenhaal bitch slapping these bullies, bruh. major disrespect, bro, because I don't know how I would take that shit, bro. Cause my man told him, hey, yo, you don't want to lose. He said, I'm going to embarrass you in front of all your friends and all these people right here. And this man had the nerve to go ask, what's his name? The dude that died by Croc. What the hell was his name? The leader of the, Dale. He tells Dale, you have health insurance? Is it pretty good? And my man's like, fuck this health insurance. Like, come on, bro, I'm gonna kill you. Then he just slaps them and carries them all. And then you got that one dude, Mo, I think his name was Mo. He tells him, hey, how far is the nearest hospital? He's like 20, 25 minutes, give or take, depending on traffic. And Dale's looking at him like, yo, bro, shut the fuck up. Yo, that shit was pretty funny. I ain't gonna hold you on that.
I'm gonna say the police response in this movie was like horrible.
It was, but I think they mentioned in the beginning of the film that nobody really cared in Florida Keys. It was pretty much like becoming ratchet, so they really don't want to waste their time trying to help people in that town. So
they had a dude sitting outside just chilling, like, I'm just gonna sit here and let these guys just fight amongst themselves. Like, I don't want to get my uniform dirty.
True. And it's funny because nobody showed up and everybody's outside like just watching people just get their asses beat. That's pretty wild.
And can you imagine walking into a bar and just like a fight breaks out and nobody freaking cares?
I don't think I've ever seen that, to be honest.
You never seen a bar fight before?
I've seen a bar fight before, but I've always seen the cops come up like pretty quick, like a pretty quick response.
Oh no, the bouncer is on it. The bouncer is on it.
Oh yeah, I've seen a bouncer whoop ass before in a bar before. But I mean, I feel like what my recollection of some of these fights were like, some of these guys deserved it. So
they were just being straight up dickheads.
Yeah,
just straight up dickheads. There was no really, the fights weren't even warranted. They were just doing it just to be doing it, which I'm just like, it can get that way in some places. Thank God I don't go there. I like drama-free environments. But I want to get back to Dalton and the backstory real fast because it really wasn't explained until when Brent Brandt came to the Roadhouse and he was asking Dalton questions about why he wasn't fighting anymore, and Dalton ended up killing his best friend because he blacked out in the ring and literally just over hit the guy and ended up killing him.
Yeah, it was just pretty wild if you think about it. But the adrenaline rush, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it made it seem like he purposely did it to kill his friend. You know what I mean?
I would just say he just blacked out, to be honest.
I would agree with you on that. That's
like
what
when
made
you're
him
in the heat of the
though.
moment. Yeah, it is dangerous. That's definitely not normal. But if we're thinking realistically, the referee during the fight could have stopped him from hitting him.
That's true. Could have ended the fight and called it and be like, all right, we're done. Like, stop. It's done.
Like he's like could have just pulled him off of him and be like, that's it. But I get it, it's a movie, but at the same time, like, I thought we were supposed to make things a little bit more authentic than what it is, because there have been multiple times where I sit down and watch a UFC fight, and sometimes they do kind of overdo it just to make sure that they're down, because I would do the same thing. I wouldn't want the person to get back up.
That's
like,
true.
I got you down. I want you to stay down.
Stay down. Yeah, like, it's either me or you, and I like breathing, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the fact that this made it worse because this was like a friend of his, so I would go as far as say maybe like the way they made it sound was that it was like his homeboy. So I mean, it's kind of fucked up if you think about it. So I don't know. Like, that's what kind of made. So that's what I'm trying to go back into, like, the whole superhero thing. It made it feel like that he has a tragic backstory, that he did something bad and he's trying to, you know, live with it and deal with it and try to move on and try to heal himself and, you know, trying to do some good in the world. Hence why he's trying to help Frankie fix the bar, which is also another part of the plot from the original movie, when you had Brad, I believe, talk to Patrick Swayze's character Dalton to help fix his bar, which is also I believe was in Florida as well. And
So it's the same plot.
Some in the beginning it was the same plot, but then it veers off completely different.
So does Frankie deceive Dalton in the Patrick Swayze movie as far as the reason why she needs her? Was it a she in the original, or is it a he?
The original was an old white guy, and no, his boss doesn't portray him. So in the original, you have Patrick Swayze helping this dude named Brad, and then he ends up living in I believe it was in a barn in a farm area, renting a room on the top of a barn, and then ends up like his neighbor is this douchebag, who's like this rich guy that controls the town. I think his name was Frank Timon, I believe it was. And he was this dude that just does whatever he wants. Basically, kind of the same premise of what we get in the second one with Ben. And he's this guy that just does whatever he wants whenever he wants in town. And Dalton isn't the type of guy to stand down. He stands up for what he believes in, and he doesn't, you know, he won't be intimidated. So the whole premises of the whole movie was that this guy, Brad, wanted to basically put Dalton in his place because he couldn't stand him. So he hired a couple thugs to come after him. Kind of the same premise of the remake. The only difference is this guy wasn't just doing it just because he he was trying to get something out of the bar. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't trying to. In the original, in the remake, they tried to say that there was something about the bar that he wanted. I guess it was like he was trying to smuggle drugs or something like that by taking over the bar or whatever. Something about the pier over there. In this one, it was just this guy.
That particular property.
That particular property, correct? And
well, they basically bought almost every single property, because remember they lit the bookstore on fire because they wanted the bookstore, right? Or there was a store across the street they really wanted, but the bookstore.
That and it spread a message as well, which was kind of fucked up if you think about it too, because
right,
that father and the daughter did nothing. The only reason they were involved is because they knew Dalton, and that's kind of fucked up. In the original, it was more like the villain could not stand Dalton at all. Like he was this rich dude that could get whatever he wanted. Dalton wasn't able to be bought. You know what I'm saying? And so, which led to this rivalry where basically it was like, either I buy you out or I'm scare you out of town. The whole premise. But in the remake, it was more like I want the property. I want to control the town. I pretty much have the police under my payroll. There's not much you can do. And Dalton was just kind of in the middle of it because Dalton was trying to make the bar a better place. You know what I'm saying? So, hence why you got Conor McGregor's character to come in there to scare him. Basically, he was supposed to kill him, but as we know, he didn't get that. So,
so I'm curious because it showed at the end Conor McGregor was walking out the hospital, right? So you think, is it possible they could do something with the Knox character?
I believe so. From what I'm getting a hint of right here is that they're trying to make a sequel, which is funny because a little Easter egg about this movie is that Roadhouse was apparently supposed to have got a sequel after they did the original, and a few months after they had they made it in the box office, they were talking about making a sequel at MGM, but Patrick Swayze at the time was booked with other movies, and I believe at that time he was either filming Point Break, which was another action movie, but he wasn't going to say no to that movie. He liked the script, so he told him he had to wait. And then, as we all know, from that point on, he ends up started getting into Dirty Dancing and Ghost, and his career skyrocketed. So they basically just kind of put it in a hiatus and was like, well, we want Roadhouse, but we're not going to do the second one without him. So I guess what they're trying to do with the remake is basically continue to make it a franchise, I guess. That's my personal opinion of it. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe they're trying to do a spin-off with Connor's character, but I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I like Connor, so I like this character. I like I like how crazy he is. I could see them doing another movie where he's going after Dalton just to get revenge, because technically you're not gonna walk away from an ass beating like that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So what would you think the plot would be for a sequel? Did they ever release the plot to the sequel back in, what was it, the 80s?
Basically 89 when the first one came out. I think they released somewhat of the plot, like a summary of it, but not the whole thing. But I vaguely remember. I remember them talking about it years ago, but I don't remember the top of my head. Maybe it might have been something similar, like where Dalton is either retired or he's trying to help another bar, and then he gets into more trouble with other people. Pretty much the same concept, but the difference is probably maybe more like a mercenary or something. I don't know.
I would like to see Conor McGregor in a sequel movie, standalone type of thing.
The crazy part is to be able to see Conor McGregor play this character, right? And like the crazy part is that he goes to the bar, right? When he first goes to meet Dalton, right? And you got all these drunk ass motherfuckers in the bar, right? And they're all like, "Who the fuck is this dude?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they still want to fight him, bro. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the alcohol talking to them. Like they feel they're invincible. But if I'm looking at Conor McGregor, bro, I'm not fighting him, bro. I'm sitting my ass down.
He's only $155.
Yeah,
but he looked really jacked, more jacked than he was since the last time I saw him in the octagon.
True, but I'm just saying not from his personal experience and who he is, but I'm saying is if I were in a bar, right, this dude looks already on hinge, so he's probably been around and has experience in a fight, and he probably doesn't care about his own well-being. Like the fact that I'm trying to say, you got these normal dudes out here who are just drunk and they just want to get in a bar fight, and it's just kind of like they're crazy as shit that the fact that they could take this dude out, and it's like, yo, bro, like y'all getting carried. And they still get, that's funny. Like I think he got held down by like 4 dudes.
Yeah, that was badass.
That was pretty badass.
He rolled all the way
carried
back.
Out one dude, carried out one bouncer too, the white boy. Yo, bro, I felt bad for him. He just, as he's getting hold back, this motherfucker grabbed his head and it kneed him, and he was like, "Get that shit out of here, bro." Damn.
I stand corrected. He got up to 170.
170? Damn.
Yeah, he was at 155 at a point, and then he jumped up to 170. Damn.
Yeah, but what he did to Billy was fucked up though. Yo,
Billy, he broke his hand. He broke his arm, right?
Nah, he slammed his hand on the table. But the other dude, the surfer boy, what was his name?
The boxer.
My man thought the boxer.
Oh yeah, he dogged the boxer.
He dogged him, right? This man came out there as he get hold by 4 dudes. He ate his
punch too.
He was eating them punches like, bro, get that shit out of here, bro. Yo, bitch slapped the shit out of him too. I was like, oh nah, yo, that I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I feel like there's a lot of anime references in this movie. Maybe just me, like the beginning too, as you see in like these fight scenes, and like you get this POV, and it kind of reminds me of Mortal Kombat a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like these combos and shit, you're like, wah, bah, bah. Yo, that like I like the shots to be taking these fight scenes. The sequences for these fight scenes are pretty badass, bro.
They said there was CGI involved with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I pretty much. I guess I couldn't tell because some of that shit looked kind of realistic. I'm kind of like, yo, these motherfuckers are badasses, bro. These little Easter egg too. You want to know too? So. In that same bar fight with Dalton and Knox actually meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when he told him, "Hey Dalton, let me give you a word of advice. Don't ever let someone get so close to you like that." And then he headbutts him.
Mm-hmm.
That actually happened in real life. That he actually got hit. Jake Gyllenhaal actually got hit by Conor, and Conor was taken back because he thought he was gonna move. And Jake was kind of badass. He said he kind of brushed it off. It was like, the fuck, dude? Like, you hit me. So they said he was cool about it. He didn't get no grudges. He didn't fight him back. He didn't cuss his ass out. He was like, it's all right. It's all right, cool. We'll use that as a part of the scene, right?
It looked real. It looked real.
Apparently it was real. Like, apparently that was what happened before they cut it off. And then another Easter egg in the second bar fight, when he almost tried to run his ass over with the car. With the truck. And you remember when he came out the door, and then Dalton came out there and tried to slam the door. Yeah. So while they were doing that take, Jake Gyllenhaal got his revenge because he ended up slamming Connor's leg on the door and actually meant it. And they said that Connor was like, yo, bro, because you know that scene when he pushed the door open and he actually got out?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jake Gyllenhaal tells him, hey, bro, you are a bad driver. He said, you ain't seen nothing yet. That whole scene was real because apparently Connor brushed that off too. Was like, all right, you slick, bro. You slick. All right, you got me back. That was pretty badass. I found that out. Yo, I didn't know that actually was real. Like, because that shit kind of looked like it hurt.
Yeah, heavy shit. Right in the shin, bro. That shit hurt.
Yeah, that shit hurt. With a door too, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Jake Gyllenhaal ain't no lightweight, bro. That shit must have hurt because he put some strength in that bitch. I'm like, oh shit. Because there were times I kind of felt like, yo, I think they're kind of letting them like actually spar out, like actually kind of let them just freestyle that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Some of that shit kind of look Connor. Like ain't freestyling with Connor.
But you know how it is for him. It's probably like this is like shadow boxing to me, bro. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just me. Maybe just me because in a little Easter egg too for the original Roadhouse when Dalton was fighting the main villain. I believe his name was Jimmy. They were at the farm area, and Jimmy was this bouncer hired by the bad guy, and Jimmy and Dalton are fighting, and the fight was never like basically like written. It was they just let these two characters go at it with each other, and whatever take they got is what they got. Apparently they did it in one take, where they just let him go at it and see what happened. Since you didn't watch the original, like this is one of the most badass scenes in this movie in the original with Patrick Swayze, when he was fighting Jimmy. And they were doing a lot of kickboxing, boxing, and then Dalton ends up breaking Jimmy's leg because Jimmy like had him like was beating the shit out of him, and he was this is a little cringy line too because I'll never forget this. It shit stuck in my head. Jimmy told Dalton after he was beating the shit out of him and had him against a tree, and he was like, I fuck dudes like you in prison. Damn. And I shit you not because he said that to him, bro. And Dalton just looked at him. He was like, you're such a fucking asshole. Go fuck yourself. So then this dude, Jimmy, throws a right kick, and his leg gets in between these two branches, and then Dalton just ends up breaking it. And then he starts pounding him and just start beating the shit out of him. And at the end, like, he ends up ripping his Adam's apple out and then throws him in the pond, and then he dies.
I remember that part.
You remember that part?
I remember
that was pretty
part.
badass because in the beginning of the movie, they kept saying that Dalton had killed a couple people by ripping his freaking ripping the Adam's apple out their throat. Mm-hmm. So that was a little foreshadowing. So that was pretty badass. That was one of the badass scenes I remember in that movie completely because that dude deserved that. At the end, Jimmy was just a straight asshole. He kind of reminds me of Knox's character, just this dude that was just irritating and just fucking crazy, and he just didn't give a fuck. But in the remake, we get them fighting, right? And then I believe Dalton end up stabbing him with a piece of wood, like a 2x4 or something.
It's like a stake-ish.
Stake. He hit him in the pressure points, right? Because he hit him like 4 times.
Yeah, he hit him like in all the pressure points, which I was surprised that he didn't kill him. But
yeah, I was surprised by that.
I'm pretty sure there's something in the Conor McGregor contract where I don't want to be killed.
Hey, if I was Conor McGregor, I would say the same shit. You ain't killing my character, bro.
Or maybe they just prepping, like maybe that's like important prep. Maybe it's just prepping for him for like a sequel. They already had that decided, but I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe, but yeah. Let me ask you this before we end up closing this out, right? Because you kind of like avoided the Jake Gyllenhaal Batman thing.
Okay.
So Jake Gyllenhaal, Bruce Wayne Batman, DCU's next Batman movie. Outside of the Robert Pattinson, of course.
Would I like to see Jake Gyllenhaal is what you're asking me to play Batman?
Yes, that's what I'm asking you. That's exactly what I'm asking you.
With this performance, I would have to agree with you. I would like to see him play Batman because he played a pretty unhinged character, bro.
I feel like anybody can play Batman. I just feel like Bruce Wayne is probably the important part.
I feel like anybody can play Bruce Wayne. I feel the opposite. Not everybody can play Batman, bro.
Not everybody. Anybody. You could put me in there. I'm just not white, but you could put me in there.
for me, if you got 3 examples of who cannot play Batman, bro.
Where are the drugs? I could do that.
Well, first of all, what's his name? George Clooney was one of them. That's not a Batman character at all, bro. I don't care.
How can you do how? Like, I feel like it's more the Bruce Wayne element of anything that people have a gripe with.
George Clooney played a great, not great, but like a good Bruce Wayne. Ben Affleck played a great Bruce Wayne, but he was no Batman, bro. He was not Batman.
What was wrong with him as Batman? I don't understand what was wrong with Ben Affleck as Batman.
I feel like they bitched him, like they tried to ground him, and it was like
that's not his fault. That's not his fault. What do you mean?
That's not Batman, bro. Batman don't stand down. He don't talk no shit or just be like, yo, I'm in a group full of superhumans, and I'm the only superhuman. I mean, the only human in here. I don't belong in this. Shut the fuck up. First of all, shut the fuck up. We don't talk like that. That's not Batman. And what the fuck was that? Why'd you say that name? Why'd you say that name?
That was Superman. Like, that was Superman.
Yeah. No, that was Superman. Superman said, Martha. He's like, why'd you say that name? Don't say that name. Like, first of all, oh my god, that just sounds terrible. And then what's the other dude? His name went out of my head. Oh my god, what's the name?
Val Kilmer.
Batman? Val Kilmer.
Mm-hmm.
That was a terrible Batman.
What's wrong with him?
I felt like he didn't play either part, bro. I just felt like he was just like bland with it, bro. Like, I don't explain. Like, I just felt like he knew the script sucked, so he kind of was just like, I'm getting paid.
And you gonna say Keaton is a good Batman?
Michael Keaton? Fuck yeah, Keaton is an OG, bro. What you talking about? First of all, okay, have you ever danced with the devil in a pale moonlight when he was fighting Joker's henchman, bro? He was unhinged in that joint. That was Bruce Wayne right there. And the whole Batman thing too, like him being Batman, bro, he had no fucks, bro. I love that. You know that in that movie that most people still don't talk about to this day is that Batman, that was the only, well, not the only, because we had Ben Affleck, Batman as well. He was the first and only Batman at the time that was killing people off screen. And nobody really talks about that.
Keaton?
Yeah.
Who he killed?
A lot of the henchmen in the beginning of the first movie.
Hell nah. He knocked them out.
You didn't see it? No, he didn't knock them out. He killed a lot of them, bro. He killed a lot of them.
I'm going to rewatch it, but I think he knocked them out.
Yeah. Go ahead, rewatch it. I'm telling you. Quote me on that shit. I'm telling you.